Then government is giving free tools where the students can learn hands-on, right? And government is giving lots of free training, workshop, hackathons, so that the government has to skill up, because when they invested this much amount of money, now if the skilled engineers are not there, what they will do? So they are doing everything what it takes. So 85,000 skilled semiconductor engineers are required by 20.
Welcome to Value Seller Talks with First Time Entrepreneurs. I'm your host Deepak Bajaj. Before we talk about our guests, I like to share two purposes behind this podcast. First, highlighting the issues these passionate entrepreneurs are addressing, they're solving with their unique ideas, with their creative minds. And the second, they really need your support. They are geniuses who are come out of their comfort zone and who wants to do something good for the society. The only thing which they expect from you is your support. So don't be judgmental, but support them because they can create an impact which you are looking at. Value Seller is committed for their success and want your support as always to make them successful in their journey. Today, we have an extraordinary guest who is joining us, a name that's quickly becoming a synonymous with shaping the future of India's semiconductor landscape. Yes, you heard it right, it's a semiconductor. Mabi Nadaf, a semiconductor career growth strategist, founder and CEO of Anadi Wave Semiconductor Private Limited, along with he's a director of the Global Institute of Integrated Circuit Technology. In short, it is called GIICT. He is just 33 years old and he brings a decade of rich experience in the semiconductor industry, which is blending deep technical expertise with a powerful vision for the talent development. A little bit about Anadi. Anadi Semiconductor was founded in March 2025, and Mabi is leading a bold mission to address the critical shortage of skilled analog IC design engineers and to build India's innovation-driven semiconductor capabilities. So you can see with this too early stage and the vision and the path which he has taken is absolutely a big leap. So thank you, Mabi, for bringing that thing up. Alongside, he's a director of GIICT, an institute which is empowering electronics engineers to break into high-value VLSI carriers. Again, a very deep technological things which he is pursuing. And more than a founder, he is a strategist. So he's spearheading a movement. Yes, you heard it right. It's not a venture, it's a movement which transforms a passionate learners into the high impact chip designers and to strengthen India's position in the global semiconductor revolution from the inside out. Mavi, welcome to the Value Seller Talks.
Thank you, Deepak, for inviting me. I have seen you a couple of podcasts before, so thank you for inviting here. It's pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And while I was reading your introduction, and I was getting a goosebumps because at this stage of 33 years old, you are taking a big challenge, which most of the the technological guys are not thinking about. So congratulations and hats off to your efforts and the courage.
Thank you, Deepak.
Mabi, we would like to know you as a person first.
Yes. So briefly to introduce about myself, my name is Mabi Nadaf. I call as a semiconductor career growth strategist. The reason is like I came from nothing, and I always tell I'm very closer to the top. Again, because I'm competing to myself. So I came from humble family. My father is a farmer, and I am the seventh kid. And growing in a small village, struggling to get even one-time food. So I came from that kind of family. And I studied over a residential school called Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, where I could crack into that one. and I studied free of cost all my engineering, even MTech.
Oh.
So since I got so much from the government, I wanted always to give back to the society. That's when throughout my journey, I used to mentor, train, or just at least tell, inspire few students along with the journey, that you see that I could change all these things because I am into this industry, and same thing it can change. So because
Mhm.
of this, I changed, and my family changed, and the whole village knows, okay, few people got inspired. So same journey I used to tell many people. So many students, they used to get inspired. That's how my journey started, Deepak.
Wow. And it's not a journey, it's a movement, as you rightly mentioned, right?
Yes,
The,
yes,
and movement takes its time to get spread across, but once it gets spread, it will show a massive evolution in any of the industry which you are working into, and obviously the giving back to the society, which I like the most, as you mentioned.
yes, yes, it's true, Deepak.
Now, coming from a village which is a, I'm not sure it's a smaller one, right? As
Small,
you,
yes, yes,
so from that, village where we still think that the maybe all the facilities are not available, if you compare with the big towns, not with the metros. And now from that place to the founding the two semiconductor companies. So what are the key challenges which you have faced, and what motivates you to become an entrepreneur?
So, coming from an humble family, and I used to go to field, means I know very good farming, if I say, until age of 2023, until I get into the job. So whenever I go home, I used to help my father. Like, I know all the things what any farmer does, and I used to do
Mm,
it.
mm,
But always I used to think one thing: how can I help my family to grow faster? So because that time, when back 2020, back 2013,
mm,
when I was 23, 24, we were with 50 lakhs of loan. My parent,
mm,
my father, with the five sisters, I told, a brother. So whole family, we were around 50 lakh of loan. So the only person, the hope was me, because I was studying engineering, I was studying MTech. So then whenever I choose my career, so like from engineering to MTech, so which is the best course I can choose where I'll get a high paying job role. So
mm,
then after even MTech, then again, which is the best role I can choose or best job I can choose, I'll get the high paying salary. So my career choice started with this. What is the best thing I can pay?
yeah,
So that's how
mm,
I get into the semiconductor industry, and I love electronics. So then electronics, semiconductor industry made me that person, that what I am today. So starting from there, within 2, 3 years, like, every time I changed my job, I was able to double the salary. So because of that, my financial condition, I could pay off all this loan in 3, 4 years of my job.
mm, mm,
So the same story I told to many other students or many other people, that, once you are in my stage where I used to be, so this is the way that you can change yourself. So this journey didn't stop. So I worked for almost the last 10 years, but still
mm,
I was feeling something is missing.
mm,
Along with the technical skills, I feel I am a different kind of multi-talented. I'm good at few things in management, few good at few things in sales, few good at training, mentoring, right? Along with my job. That's when I took a challenge, that what the world right now needs. The
mm,
world right now needs is a semiconductor engineers, and what India needs. How
mm,
can I contribute to my country? Right? How can I make the change? Right? So the only thing I have is, okay, I can make the change to upskill or reskill somebody to get the high paying job in semiconductor industry.
mm,
So this mission led me to start a training institute where we train people, where upskill people. We help them to empower. Mainly, we help them to empower any kind of background, right, in the semiconductor industry. So that's how the first company called GICT is built, Global Institute of Integrated Circuit Technology. Students are not only from India, even there are students from abroad also.
mm,
So, and after this training, we get a very good skilled engineers in especially domain called analog domain in the semiconductor industry. Then we have to place these people. So these people can get the maximum out of the industry and they can show the true potential. So that's
Right.
when the Anadi Wave Semiconductor, a resource staffing company, was like started, where we train people here. Then we do, with this company, we do the resource staffing, the best quality trained engineers. So when I tell trained engineers, so one difficult challenges of semiconductor industry right now in India, although Indian government is investing so much, right?
Mm.
Manya Pradhan Mantri ji started so many big initiative so that Indian semiconductor industry will grow faster, right? There are so many like either C2As or DLI, PLI. These are the schemes which are started. But we have now infrastructure, we have now the funding, but we don't have the resources. That is skills.
Mm. Right. And
So
that's where you bridge that gap.
yes, that's when I am so passionate about it. So when it comes to training, it's not just technical skills I give them.
Mm.
Just by giving them, nobody will become a good engineers, but we have to transform them. Why are you doing, from the clarity why you should do this one, why are you doing it too, until they get hands on and until they get inspiration from inside that they want to become best engineers. That's
Right.
when I started doing it, Deepak.
So it's more over like a technology hands-on plus the mindset transformation as well.
Yes. So nowadays with present generation and everything is available in the internet, right?
Mm.
Everything is literally available in the internet. They can sit and do it from anywhere, but they don't know the roadmap. They
Yes.
don't know the mentor. It's like they just get confused. Should I start this? Should I start this? Should I start this? And everything which available in the internet or like in the colleges is a theoretical part.
Mm.
Nobody knows the hands-on how to do practically, right? That's when the experts comes. So there are three ways how anybody can enter into semiconductor industry. One is, so companies hire them and they train for next 6 to 1 year, right? Then
Mm.
they become a skilled engineers. Then they will be giving the ROI for the company.
Mm.
Or these people also can get training for hands-on and directly go to the top companies with the skill as a skills already there which they are having.
Mm.
So this is how the semiconductor industry, skilled engineers will get very high paying and demanding, and even AI can't replace these hardware engineers.
That's a very big message which you've given that
Yes,
AI cannot replace the engineers who are creative and who are skilled.
yes, yes, yes. It is true.
Mm. Now, I like to understand from one important aspect that one is the companies are looking at the people, the engineers, or maybe the skilled resources, in our language. Now, but what about the engineers? The engineers who just come from a theoretical knowledge from going with 4 years course or 5 years course of masters or XYZ, then what is the mindset of an engineer who come out from the college? Because you're dealing with them, everyone has a different or maybe a similar situation like yours, you know. What is the first thing which you address their thought process?
Uh, Deepak, it's really a good question. I have to tell you. Until these college students come out of their engineering college, they will not knowing the reality.
Mm.
Their expectation is, okay, I'm doing my engineering, I'm doing my masters. The companies will come and take me, and then they will give 30, 40 lakhs of package. That's what their expectation. And their family will be asking, beta, kab job milega? Abhi, you're completing the engineering, completing the. But when reality, when it hits, when they attend the interview.
Mm.
So when they attend the interview, companies are simple. We are investing the money. We need a skilled engineers. So when they go to interview, they have the students right now present the students. They have only theoretical knowledge where they're not able to apply this knowledge for the practical purpose. So there's a huge gap between the academic and the industry. Then they realize, students start realizing, okay, we should have done something in our college, right?
Mm.
But it's already too late for them that, So what I suggest whenever I go to keynote speaker into colleges and I'll tell them this is the reality. Nobody will be, just want your theoretical knowledge. Because whenever we are good in theoretical knowledge, we can't have a very good fundamental knowledge. Our
Oh.
industry looks for good fundamentals. deep tech understanding required in the semiconductor industry. So whenever I visit college and tell, the first thing, you whatever the amount of you're spending on the theoretical thing, double that amount you spend on the projects, labs,
Mm.
internships, right? When these people do internship, they start understanding the company needs from the, in their fourth year itself. So that 6 months to 1 year, they get a very good understanding of the industry, and they start feeling their, whatever the skill gap they have.
Mm.
Now this skill gap, they still have 1 year to implement and like work on it. So, but one thing I observed is every young engineer, they're looking for the early result. They want results immediately. They want the best company immediately. They want to get the knowledge or like skills very immediately, which doesn't happen. It takes so much time and efforts, energy to gain the knowledge. The
Mm.
persistence is missing so far, I can say.
So again, this is a biggest challenge with the current generation. Everyone needs a quick money, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
via any of the schemes they want to put into. Same happen with the education also. So they
Hmm.
want a high paying jobs just coming out from the college. Maybe only fraction of them may get it, uh, but most of the people are still struggling, and they change their jobs, they change their career. Like most of the people are moving into the IT, and I'm pretty much sure you also have seen some of the cases that the person has gone through a sort of semiconductor studies, but now he become an IT engineer because the adoption rates are more.
Yes.
So how you are handling such type of prevention of the student who are actually a Canva, a open or a fresh Canva, and something has to be written. So how you transform that emotional sense from not shifting his career to non-semiconductor, domain, and giving them a boost. Okay, you get something good out of here if you just remain focused and have some patience.
Correct. So I can correlate this question to my life, because when I was in that stage of MTech, I
Mm.
had an offer from three company, but these all either L&T, Cognizant, or so these all were software, right? One side where they were easily paying me around 4.5 to 5 lakh back then, 2015 or 16. And other side, I have an internship opportunity in semiconductor industry where they're paying me only 10,000 rupees per month. Can you see? I have to compare now 50,000 rupees per month to the 10,000 per month. That to internship. I am not sure whether I'll get the permanent job or not. So, but somebody like I met few of the mentors back then, and they explained me. How the core electronics will grow as you grow from the first year to 10 years, then 10 years to 20 years, 20 years to 30 years. As you grow, your importance in the industry will keep on increasing, right? And same as your even the pay scale also, and you will be so critical resource for the industry that you will not, your job also will not be remote. So but if they understand all these things along with their passion, I had so much passion for electronics, I had so much passion that like I wanted to create something in the electronics, right? We used to in our first company, we used to work 12 to 15 hours to see how this can be made it like in the hardware form, whatever we are thinking, we are creating, right? How can we make it in the hardware form? So that kind of challenging life, if somebody is looking, definitely they will go for a semiconductor industry. But what
Mm.
happens to software industry? They get a job
Mm.
easy
Yes.
because acquiring the skill is very easy.
Mm.
But acquiring the semiconductor skill is very difficult and very challenging also because it takes more time. Something which takes more time to acquire the knowledge, right? So that's when people will start feeling that, okay, it will take more time. It's not good for us. It's not, it's not for meant for us. And I don't think I can become a semiconductor engineer, right? And also the lack of roadmap. They don't know
Mm.
somebody who has done it already. If they
Yes.
don't know already somebody who has done it, then it's easy. They will go and talk to them and find out the roadmap. Okay, they will tell, okay, if do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. So we'll get it there. So these people don't know that one. But
Mm.
definitely they know somebody who are in the software engineer.
Yes.
So acquire the skill for next 2 3 months. Some do some testing, coding, and all. So you'll get any easy job. So people will go for the easy job in the initially. What I can say, at least talk to 5 VLSA engineers before you make this decision. If you're an electronic engineer, five
Hmm.
VLSA engineers who are already there where you want to be. So you talk to them, then you make a decision.
Hmm. Now again, it's all about, you remind me of a very important point that, why the person move out from their existing portfolio. Now, first thing that they have to speak with someone. But the biggest problem here is that when they start talking with it, with the another person, they start comparing it. And when you start comparing it, then you say, okay, the shortcut is IT, not a semiconductor. So maybe, although we all understand the Rome is not built in a night time,
Yeah,
so you have to give and feed that particular knowledge, and also to talk with the right relevant people. But again, when this comparison, this competition is a killing factor for many of the professionals across the globe.
exactly, exactly. I tell you, Rome was not built in a day. It's so much true. Any to make it any VLSA engineer, it takes so much of time, energy, and their persistence, determination, and every day it's challenging. Every day I am going to solve a new problem in my job.
Mm.
People who love challenges, they can, or they should be there in the semiconductor industry, I can say.
Mm. What is your vision? Like, what is the Indian market is going to expand in this semiconductor space? Like, can you throw some numbers so that the people will get more motivated and understand? And along with the, if you can share some average salary of an semiconductor engineer, that will also help them to motivate.
Sure, sure, Deepak. See how much Indian government is investing right now in semiconductor industry, right? So
Mm.
I think on an average they gave the 10 billion kind of incentive to any semiconductor industry, and along with that, even the private organization like Tata, Adani, all these companies are investing in semiconductor industry, especially in India.
Mm.
So if I ask a question, why these people are investing? They definitely know that they're going to get the whatever the return of investment, correct? So
Right.
as a young engineer, for me, what I should look, when they invest and they can grow, right? Obviously there is a good amount of salary and jobs for me. On an average, semiconductor industry, I attended one of the conference. I got to know that 85,000 jobs will be, jobs are opened by 2026 in
Okay.
semiconductor industry. 85,000.
Okay, fine.
That is the reason government is giving free tools where the students can learn hands-on, right? And government is giving lots of free training, workshop, hackathons, so that the government has to skill up, because when they invested this much amount of money, now if the skilled engineers are not there, what they will do? So they are doing everything what it takes. So
Mm.
85,000 skilled semiconductor engineers are required by 2026.
Mm.
Okay. And when you talk about the salary, you know, on an average, a semiconductor engineer who are having, I'm not talking about the tier one colleges like IIT or NIT. So I'm not
Mm.
from IIT, NIT. So I'm from coming from tier three engineering colleges also. So on an
Mm.
average, they get minimum 10 lakh per year, and it never stops from there.
Yeah.
Every year, it mostly doubles. If you are five
Mm.
5 years of any analog design engineer or analog domain engineer, easily will make around 40 to 50 LPA, right? Any 10 years plus engineers in the semiconductor industry, closely they make 80 to 1 CR in semiconductor industry with the current trend right now.
Oh.
So if the students knows about this, do you think
Mm.
they'll still make the choice about the software industry?
And you give a very good example, like 10 lakhs per annum versus 4.5 to 5 lakhs per annum. Obviously, one get a easy job, based on the requirement in the IT domain. And the semiconductor, obviously the number is not is really good, it will expand over the time, but still 25,000 is not a bad number.
So no, the catch is so they have to be skilled engineers.
Skilled engines, yes.
If a very good skilled 2 year skilled engineer, he can, when he switch the job, even he can get from anywhere between from 15 lakh to even 30 to 40 lakhs if he's a
Mm,
skilled engineer.
mm,
So if there is because any company in the semiconductor industry, they look for more accuracy rather
mm,
than they look for more kind of bulk. So when they look for the best kind of quality and the product, so they're ready to do invest anything.
mm,
And
mm,
to do one small power management chip, it takes almost $1 million. $1 million. When it cost $1 million, do you think they will gamble with the people who don't have the skills? So that's the
mm.
reason why I tell people, you're not getting the job because you don't have the skills, right?
Right.
Get the best skills, get your fundamentals best. You easily anybody will come and take you.
And the good part here is the competition is also very limited because most of the bulk has moved to the IT, and here the
Yes,
cream will remain, and the chances of getting this cream hired or becoming an entrepreneur like yours is very high.
yes. So as you told, right, like this can be done only by either students who are in electrical domain or
Okay.
electronic domain or maybe instrumentational domain.
Mm,
So only these students can do it. Like, not all the, again, civil, mechanical, software, all these people can't do this domain. So that's the reason it becomes micro niche kind of thing. Anybody to grow bigger in the industry.
mm. I can very well understand the amount of information or the education which you are giving or imparting to the colleges or the students is very high because it's a different topic for them, and the students are still from a IT oriented mindset. Now your efforts and your contribution in educating them, training them, hand holding them is very much required. So how you are making yourself available, and how you are motivating yourself to put your extra efforts and reaching to multiple colleges and many colleges.
See, whenever I get, obviously sometimes it happens like, uh, although how much over you like, there is a saying, right? You can bring the horse to the pond, but you can't make the horse to drink, right?
Hmm.
Unless they get a proper clarity that why they should study this one, right? Unless they get fire from inside, and it's very difficult for anybody to, train them or like, push them in this one. But what best I do it, I do everything what it takes to place these guys from the non-job to into a very good job by doing it skilling. Some students, I told you, right, it's not just the training. Again, some students may be lacking in communication skills. I have to help him with the communication. Some student might be having the fear of the interviews, they low confidence, they don't believe in themselves, especially people who are coming from rural India, right? They are very skilled, very good in electronics, but they don't know how to talk,
True,
right?
true.
So then I have to help them. Then there are students who are very good, but they don't know the hands-on kind of practical application. Then we have to transform the theoretical knowledge to application. It just doesn't happen in one day. So
Hmm.
rigorous shooting, and until they learn, we have to repeat it.
Hmm. So,
So yes,
so Mabi, how many students you have trained so far? I remember when you started, it was only one or two students initially.
yes. So I think I started with one or two students. That too, I used to do it freely. I have to tell you, Deepak. So when I used to do it freely, and people started taking it, okay, freely is available. They are not serious. Like, when they're not serious, obviously they were not learning good way. But
Hmm.
when they started investing their time, when they started investing their money, when they started investing their energy, focus, right? That's when they started getting result. So I all the way started with two students, then it became eight, eight become 10, 10 became 20, 20 become 30. So this count has been increasing as the growth is also, demand is also there in India, and along with people are getting the result. So
Mm.
on an average, maybe more than 500 plus students I might have trained so far who got the best job and they're in nicely. I have to tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. There was a one lady who is around like, an inner 40s, I can say. She was a professor almost for 10 years. She worked in the industry, and maybe on an average, she was getting around, let's assume, 10x kind of salary, right?
Mm.
And after 4 months of training, getting the best skills from the GICT, she could jump to 3x of her salary. Means three
Mm.
times of higher salary than whatever she was getting for last 10 years in 6 months. And all her personal challenges were taken care. So actually, her family needed a financial support. So she could do that one.
Yeah.
Literally, she told her, just because of this training program, all I can do everything, for my family. So uh, what else you want? This kind of, when somebody gets job and they come back and tell me, because of this transformation, their whole family has transformed. So
Mm.
this gives me more kick. So when they win, I win. I always think every day when I get up, okay, if my students are winning, then only I'm winning.
That's a very noble cause. And
Yes.
importantly, at this moment, when I understand the businesses are always up and down, but waking up every day with this thought and demotivating yourself from only from the financial or the commercial aspect of it, and creating a impact in the life, that is something makes you a true leader. Thank you. So thank you, Mabi, for bringing that particular aspect, because nowadays most of the courses has become commercialized.
But this is the smallest thing I can do for the humankind. I always tell, like, how can I make this world better than it was yesterday for
Mm.
my son or for the whole world.
Yeah. And this is what you said, giving back to the society. Now
Yes.
I can relate it, how you are making it and returning it back. But yes, one thing which is also very important, especially from a freebies point of view, that guys, freebies is a trap. So you can't become a millionaire just with the freebies, right? Because you will remain stuck. So don't invest in yourself, invest in something which actually has a roadmap for you, and invest in something which makes you a better person than what you are today.
Correct. So yeah, yes, it is true, Deepak. See, I told you everything is available in the internet,
Hmm.
and students are like, they are not able to do it. But
Hmm.
people who have invested, and they are serious people, right? When they invested their money, they're going to invest their time also. When they're
Correct.
going to invest their time, they're going to invest their efforts, and they're so focused, right? So when they come with such kind of, so 99% of the people, 99% of the people who have invested in themselves, they got the result.
Hmm. It's an important message, right? Nothing is available. You have to do your effort. You have to play your part
Yes.
sincerely and has to put everything what you want to do, so that the results are, if you are able to get those results which you are aiming for. Now,
True.
Mavi, tell me about Anadi wave. Uh, First of all, what is the meaning of this word Anadi wave?
See, Anadi wave has two meanings. One is Ana, it stands for analog, DI, it stands for digital, and wave, it stands for RF. So, where in semiconductor industry, we have this analog, digital, and RF. So, combining this word, that's what I made Anadi wave. But I was talking to my friend and he told, oh, there is a meaning for Anadi. Anadi, which stands for, like, a wave which never dies, eternal. There is no start and there is no beginning. As long as the human beings we are there, so our sensory organs are there, all are which are in the analog nature. My
Mm.
eyes, like, touch, feel, everything is in the analog nature. The whole
Mm.
electronics what we are building is for us only. So that's the reason I tell, like, analog which never dies. Analog is always an evergreen domain. So that's how the Anadi Wave, the name came. Anadi Wave Semiconductor Private Limited. The reason I started this one, after training these people, after training to the best of the industry in the domain, right? I also should place these people in the top companies.
Mm.
So where we do resource staffing, the best quality engineers, hands-on trained engineers, right? We place them in the semiconductor different companies. So this is resource staffing company.
Mm. Okay. And how easy or how tough is for you to touch base with the B2B organization, the technology organization, the name which you have mentioned, a few minutes back, how seriously they are taking, how comfortable are they while taking a resources from you? And you are just started up, right? You are not a brand as of now, and I wish you will
Yes.
become a brand in coming time. But yes, but at this moment, as we speak, how the companies are treating you?
So this is very valid and genuine question which I'm right now facing. See, somebody who's coming new into the ecosystem, nobody will entertain.
Mm,
First of all, nobody will entertain because they're all the connections are set and all right. But if you come with the intention that this guy is giving the best quality of engineers,
mm,
right? So obviously we'll start getting the trust from the different company. So as of now, like getting to the top B2B companies is very challenging, but I can reach to the B2Bs which are in the tier 3 or tier 2 kind of thing easily, because this getting a skilled engineer itself is a bottleneck for most of the people.
mm. Right.
So best way to generate the when more engineers is like by upskilling and reskilling, and I'm already doing it. So that's the
Mm,
reason I don't think I will face any major challenge. But rather than me going, most of the companies are coming. The reason is I'm trying to give the best quality and which are ready from the day one to do the productive things in the companies.
mm. And that's what I want to bring attention to our listeners, that you guys, you have to give them an opportunity. They are doing something which has been ignored in fast-paced world, but they are the people who has picked out these opportunities, the challenges, turning it into the opportunities, and what they are looking is the support from you. So semiconductor, you're maybe finding it difficult in getting a one semiconductor experienced person. Now here is Mavi, who has a full army of semiconductor experts. So give him a chance. Right. So Mavi, best of luck. Again, whatever can be done to make you to reach to the right people, the value seller team is with you, so that they will get it's a win-win situation for your engineers also, as well as it is all we are also trying to give back to the society in building up products which is required for India and developed by Indians.
Hey, thank you, Deepak. I told you first, like, you're doing amazing thing, by inviting people like us. It just gives a different kind of perspective for many people. And also, I told you, I visited a lot of your podcast before, and I could learn many things from the different people's mistakes. We can learn a lot of mistakes from others, and we also can implement different strategies from other people. So it's been really a pleasure being here, Deepak.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the motivational words. And yeah, whatever can be done, it's done from our side. The only thing is we have to create a ways so that it shouldn't help us individually, but for the whole ecosystem. And this is what we are trying to do here as well. Right. But Mabi, I'm pretty much sure, training people, talking with the customers, developing a new program for them, reading about the new innovation which is coming in this industry as well. Also, and also competing with some of the developed countries as well, especially from China and the Taiwan. So it takes all your time. So how you as an individual balances your time, energy, focus, and obviously for your family.
Deepak, when I was doing job, right, I used
Mm-hmm.
to tell that I don't have time. The reason, like, I used to tell that, as a people who are working in the corporate, right, like we have always like in the back of the mind with something is running,
Yeah.
and we used to do job from 9 to 5. But once we became an entrepreneur, right, I felt my job is 24 hours. The
Mm,
reason is like, initial stage of 1, 2, 3 years, like then I realized like how challenging it is. This new journey of entrepreneurship is testing my energy to the core, not only
mm,
just physical energy, mental energy, right? All the spiritual energy, I can say. So it's testing to the core. I have to be best so that then only I can give the best for other people.
Hmm.
I have to change so many hats. I told you, like, I have to change. So a core technical engineer. Now suddenly I have to shift perspective. I have to think like a businessman. I should I should become a salesperson, right? I should make a strategy. Then along all with this, I have to handle the students. I have to handle the team. Then along with this, I have a 1.5 year son, and I have to give enough time for my family, right? So this is amazing journey. I'm what I'm telling you. It's like it's testing my energy, though. I definitely know that it makes me better and better.
Yeah.
I always like think if I was born as a king, if I was
Hmm.
a king, or if I am a king, I will have the whole kingdom. Then how would I maintain it? I should
Hmm.
see where is the war is happening. I should see all the people also. I should take care of everything.
Yes.
So which push my energy. Okay, I'm on the right path. So yeah, it's too challenging to maintain the time with the as a young entrepreneur. But I'm doing it everything what it takes.
Hmm. And with your experience of entrepreneurship, which hat is the most challenging? Convincing the students or approaching the technology companies or maybe, managing your own teams. Which hat, you think, or maybe others, which you find it more difficult and you are learning day by day?
Uh, Managing our own teams.
Ah,
Because the reason is you need a visionary people like you along with you who believes in your ideology and principles,
mm,
right? So once you have one person with the same visionary, if you have the team along with you having the same visionary, right? So things become so easy. I told you I'm a core technical engineer,
mm,
suddenly
mm,
into this managerial role, suddenly into a sales role, right?
yeah.
It becomes quite challenging. And since the semiconductor industry is so growing and so many students are there, I'm not having a challenge to maintain the students. So, but only challenge is to maintain the managerial role, I can say.
Mhm. Actually, you're the first person who mentioned that managing the team is more difficult, but most of the people are talking about, getting a sales or doing a business development is too hard for them because they generally come from their uh, technical core jobs, and definitely, they are very good into that, and teams they bring accordingly. But yes, I understand, you're managing team because your domain is totally a different domain. It's not a simple domain which can be learned from Google. So alignment of yours and your vision with the someone who come from who has not having a great knowledge like yours, the challenge is always there. And how you are coping that? That is also another motivation for most of our listeners.
Yeah, although I'm not so successful, but I always look into example. I read about the Elon Musk, like and how he manages, how he gets the best out of the people, right? Even
Mm,
Ratan Tata, even he used to tell when I have grown, I have not grown alone. I have a pyramid kind of the management where they give the best out of there, so that then only we can grow. So I just adopted one of the skill from the Elon Musk, what he told. Every week you just take the, weekly from your team, what the best thing they have done that week, right? It just helped me to improve by maybe 20 to 30% of the productivity from my team.
mm, yeah.
So I am just trying to find out either reading I read a 10x book. Then from there also I adopted just we can set the goal by 10x and start the same actions by 10x, right? Even that gave a result by 10 to 20% of difference.
Mm.
Deepak, honestly, I'm still learning. I'm in my journey. So this is what I can tell you.
We all are learning, so everyone is every step, every phase is a different roadblock, and that's where your patience, your effort, and your courage and your adaptation, flexibility to adapt that thing will help you to overcome that particular task. So okay, we all are learning, right? I haven't seen any leader who's mentioned that they are self-sufficient or they learned everything. No, every great leader is still learning at whatever the experience they have. They even have a 4 decades of experience, they are still learning. So you are on the right path. Mabi.
Correct. Thank you, Deepak.
But when you started, and as you are still progressing in your journey, so what are the mistakes which you did and which you can advise to other aspiring entrepreneurs that they should not do that thing? So anything which you think about the mistake which you did when you started?
So, as a young entrepreneurs, I can just maybe tell with my perspective, only people who are coming from the IT background
Mhm.
or were trying to become an entrepreneurs. Because I was same thing. I was an engineer where I was trying to become an entrepreneur. So this is not my first. This is not my first business. As I tell, I also started two, three other things soon after, like in the rush to become an entrepreneur,
Mm.
where those were not my expert of domain. So
Oh.
those were different kind of domain where I tried to do jump in there, either maybe a hotel industry or maybe some other industry, right? I jump in there and I'm trying to do that, right? Which I don't know the in depth of that industry.
Mm.
So what lesson I learned is start doing from where you have with what you have, right?
Mm.
And whatever your expertise for last 5, 10, 20 years, whatever it is. Because when in depth of 10, 20 years, so can you the failure chances are very less.
Mm.
So this when, like this after doing that only, then the journey has been smooth and successful for me in the semiconductor industry, because I worked 10 years in semiconductor industry and I studied for more than 6, 7 years in the electronics, which I
Okay.
understand how this industry and market works, and I have a very good connection in the semiconductor market, because I last 10 years I've been developing the good connections everywhere, wherever I go.
Mm.
So this might be the lesson maybe I can tell to young entrepreneurs, especially who is engineers who trying to become entrepreneur. They're looking for side business or passive income or anything. Do something
Mm.
which you know in depth.
Very, very important message, because as you rightly mentioned that everyone has zeal to become entrepreneur, but what to start, where to start, how much deep it has to be there, and how to avoid the zigzags, means shifting from one career to another or one offering to another offering, like you said, hotel industry, which is totally a 180-degree shift of what you have learned so far.
Yes.
So it's a very important message. But tell me one thing, because you are not, having a close relationship with the people coming, who are still, learning, or who are connect with the academics. They are not very experienced, right? Maybe. So
Yes.
what make them to become entrepreneur? Why people don't want to become an employee? Why they are not becoming an employee? Why they want to become entrepreneur?
So any young engineer, as they're coming out of the college, they want
Hmm.
to start up the company.
Hmm.
The reason is, like as how the young engineers or Gen Z, how they think or how we think, right? So
Hmm.
they think in a different way. Their survival is taken care by their parents, right? And they have to do something bigger than what the survival is required. So,
Hmm.
and more than that, anything, they want the freedom.
Freedom. Yeah.
They want the freedom and they want quickly get rich. And some
Uh,
people are even passionate.
hmm.
So when they are coming with this kind of mindset, right? And so maybe that's the reason maybe young engineers want to become entrepreneurs. There is no doubt in it. It's like I always like tell you, yes, it's a good idea. Even if you can start entrepreneurship in the young age, even in the schools, right? This is a good idea. So it's no problem in starting an entrepreneurship, but only you have to do the basic education.
Hmm.
Whatever the basic education, we should do it, because I become an entrepreneur, and if I don't know good financial ways to manage those things, so then
Hmm.
one or the other day I'm going to get affected for it. So do minimum basic education. Along with that, if you have a chance to do entrepreneurship, so you can go at any stage of life. It's not only this time or that time, any stage of life.
A very important message which you touch base. Freedom, quick rich. Obviously, nowadays they are getting a support from the family to take a risk, right? But again, what will happen when the people don't have a proper knowledge. As you rightly mentioned, the basic knowledge, the fundamentals should be clear before you enter into any new space. Otherwise, you will reach to that stage where your mind is not allowed you to do a job. And as an entrepreneur, you have failed, and which is again avoiding you to take another risk. So avoid that trap, because this is a dark hole which I'm afraid that most of the youngsters will fall into that, and there's no coming back from that, dark zone. As a mental harassment, mental torture will be more prevalent if they don't take their steps, thoughtfully, and can work around it, in a with their risk mitigation plans.
True, Deepak. Yes.
What is your roadmap of growing your ventures, both the ventures, Anadi Wave as well as GIAT, for next couple of years?
So since I told you, I am in the skill upskilling in industry, right? I'm helping the talent to grow. So I will definitely continue in the same path. So with the GICT, I would love to help 1 lakh semiconductor engineers to get their job. So this has been my vision in the semiconductor industry for GICT, and I will do the best resource staffing with the another wave semiconductor. If this journey continues, and we also want to do something research, cutting edge research, to contribute to the semiconductor industry, either it's a design point of view, where if we can design and best intellectual properties, right?
Mm,
So that has been the future plan with the another wave semiconductor. But right now, I start with which is most important in the semiconductor industry, that is upskilling people. The two
mm,
hands-on training, hands-on skilled engineers required a lot. If this time semiconductor industry to be successful in India, that is can happen only with the skilled engineers. Will
mm,
you, if I ask you a question, Deepak, will you invest money or your like infrastructure, everything, thinking like, if there is no skilled engineer,
it's a big risk for any organization. No one
any
will go for.
organization?
Yes.
Yes, but India has already done it. They invested money. They're building the infrastructure, and other countries also investing in India. Only
Mm,
what faster rate we can do is build the best engineers, skilled engineers.
mm, right, right. I'm pretty much sure there must be some plans, but yes, how they are executed is also a very important aspect. The plans on paper versus the real execution, there's always a huge gap, and that's where, it leads to the drop of the business.
So sorry, Deepak, I just lost you for a minute because of this sound, background sound.
Okay. Now, I'm saying that, obviously, if what is the plan on the paper versus the real execution, if there's a gap, then all the business strategies and the ideas will go down. So as you rightly mentioned, if to make this momentum high, you need a experience, skilled resources, and that's where you are actually bringing that opportunity to the aspirants who really wants to grow in that particular field, and obviously taking it this initiative, the movement which you started, to a next level.
Yes, Deepak, you rightly said. Uh, that's when when I was reading the about semiconductor industry for last 2 to 3 years,
Hmm.
uh, when we got to know about this semiconductor industry in depth and its challenges is in COVID time,
Hmm.
when the civilians started using more electronic things. That's when the surge of semiconductor industry started. And as a individual contributor, what I can do best is just by sharing my knowledge, can build this kind of best semiconductor training institutes.
Now that is very much needed. The India is known for having a brightest brain. The only thing is to have that hand holding of these brains, giving them a roadmap, and giving them a whatever the support is required to make them to reach to make their own momentum. And you are doing a great job, Mabi.
Thank you, Deepak.
So, any advice that you want to share with the first time entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey, or who are thinking to start their journey as an entrepreneur, as a business owner?
So if somebody is starting their journey as a first-time entrepreneurs, I want them to get the complete clarity on what they are trying to do. And once you get the clarity and once you start, right, never try to become a perfectionist to take any actions.
Mm,
So if I take myself, like so many times I think to take any actions before, like, am I doing it perfect? Right. So the moment we get into the perfectionist, the moment we take the decision a little slower, that's when and I told you, right, like being an entrepreneur is you should be present 24 hours. You should be alert.
yes.
So that kind of zeal you should keep for next 2 to 3 years, initial stage of your entrepreneurship until it goes to the higher level. So maybe this is the smallest advice I can give because I have seen myself, doing these mistakes sometimes. I have seen myself. I told you it test entrepreneurship tests your the energy to the core, and you
Very
have to
well.
overcome every time. Literally, especially it tests your self-esteem a lot. Every time you have to overcome. Always you get into doubt mindset that can I do it? Do you think it is a right mindset? Do you think it's a right, wrong? So many doubts. But every time I have to believe my gut feeling.
Mm,
It is correct. And most of the time, when I believe my gut feeling, I have done it exceptionally well. And it has went right.
agree. Agree. And how's your again, it's a personal one, but how your family has supported you in your journey when you started at the initial time?
So although I wanted to do this journey last 2 years back, I got married in 2022. Then I wanted to do it immediately, but immediately, my wife got pregnant and we have a baby. So that's the reason, like, I took so much of 1 to 2 years of time to analyze the situation. Then I worked, and after it's been really good. My wife being an electronic engineer, she understands me more, okay, as a electronic engineer. So yeah, my family supports me a lot, especially my wife does everything small work. She takes care of my all the small work so that I will not put my head into that.
Mm,
So then she allows me to put all into the business, and to put all my best efforts in the high amount of decisions I'm supposed to make. So this has been really advantageous, I can say.
no, no. Obviously, the you cannot build a big empire or without alone. You need your family support, and definitely this is something which every whosoever entrepreneur I'm talking with, they are getting a massive support from the family. But again, it would be a challenging when you plan to move out from your comfort zone of 9 to 5 job, although it's now become 9 to 9, not 9 to 5. But yes, that moment would be a crucial moment for your family because it
Yes,
was.
yes. See, even this is really crucial moment that when I was quitting my job. The reason is it's too much of uncertainty. I'm living my best job, high-paying job. Life is set. Everything was going smooth,
Mm,
right? When suddenly I told my wife that I'm quitting my job, right? So obviously everybody, even my mother, so it just feels little uncertainty. But only thing is they believed in me. The reason is I have done it in the past. Means I told you I came from nothing, and every time I made my decisions either in my career. So this has been the successful. So I told them the same thing. So this time also it is going to be a successful journey, and you have to believe me, and you have to support. So I told you again, like I agree to the some extent when somebody tells. I listen to everybody. I will listen
mm,
to literally everybody, but end of the day, I believe in my gut feeling that what I want. Am I going behind what I want in life?
mm. Very well said. And that's the characteristics of a true leader. You are taking a risk, although you are respecting everyone by listening. But at the end of the day, if you are not going to do so, then who will be taking the actions on your behalf?
True, true, Deepak. Yes.
Uh, so yeah, I know there's a lot of questions, but I just want to put a pause over here and I really want to thank you for first of all identifying that gap and really doing some extra effort to bridge that gap. So you're not actually, Mabi, you're not only creating your venture. I admit it's not a venture. It's not a company which you're building. You are actually building an ecosystem. And in this ecosystem, every person who is associated with that semiconductor will get impacted. And I can see that how you will be contributing in India's GDP growth. Not now, but maybe few years down the line, but definitely that thing will happen.
Definitely, definitely. It's a bigger vision. I told I want to transform 1 lakh semiconductor engineers to get their job. So when I have finished the 1 lakh, definitely I'll be contributing either directly or indirectly to the GDP of India.
Thank you, Abhi, for bringing all these part. Whatever you are saying, I was trying to relate when I started my journey. Obviously, at the end of the day, the efforts and the challenges always remain the same, but the domains can be different. But again, I personally learned a lot from you, and I'm pretty much sure to our listener, it will be a very motivational for them.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting Deepak. It's been a really, really pleasure being here.
Mavi, if someone has to connect with you, what would be the right approach?
LinkedIn will be the best way to connect with me, or maybe my website, where mabinadaf.com, also one of the other way they can connect with me.
Perfect. So obviously, when I'm going to upload this, definitely I will be tagging you and your website as well, so that the people can become more easy and handy for them to connect with you directly.
Sure, sure. That will be amazing for other people who are listening also.
Right. And thank you so much, Mavi, for all your insights, for all your learnings. And I'm still, there are so many podcasts which we will plan in the future as well. And your expertise is very much needed at that time as well.
Yes. So there is just one great saying which I keep telling many people: billion-dollar chip industry, million Indian job seekers. Billion-dollar chip industry, million Indian job seekers. This is the right time.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
very
you.
much right. And thank you. So to our listeners, until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye, Deep.